Hey y'all, welcome back to Krista's Kitchen. So today we are making our Cattledrive Casserole again, but instead of making just one, I'm making a double batch so that we can put them in the fridge and the freezer for Make Ahead meals, so that they are ready to pull out and just pop in the oven. So I'm going to list the ingredients for one single pan. It makes a 9 by 13 pan, which still makes a ton. But I'm going to tell y'all the double recipe that I'm cooking today so you don't get confused. But if you want just a single recipe, look down in the description and the comments and I'll have it all listed there for you. So in my pan, I have 2 pounds of beef that I've ground beef that I've cooked up. And we're going to add in 2 diced green bell peppers and 1 medium diced onion. So I've cooked the meat all the way and drained off the grease. I've gotten to where I've started cooking a lot of the meat off camera because most all of us, if we're just browning some meat, we know how to do that. And it can get quite loud with the sizzling. So we're just going to get these peppers and onions mixed all in and let this simmer for about 10 minutes so we can start softening those veggies. Make sure to drain your grease before this step just so you don't have a pile of grease in there with your veggies, because these veggies will sweat and make some of their own liquid. We're going to let that sit for a few minutes and we're going to move on to our cream mixture. Okay, so for our cream mixture, again, this is for the double recipe. We're adding in 1 cup of sour cream, 1 cup of mayonnaise, 2 cans of diced green chilies. I use the fire roasted. Well, I think all of them are fire roasted. I usually say I use the fire roasted just because I know that's what I put on my grocery pickup order. But just a can of green chilies. I am using the medium. And 3 cups of shredded cheese. Well, about 2 cups of shredded cheese in this part. Now we're just going to mix this all together. And we're going to set this to the side. Now don't forget to stir your meat mixture every now and again. And now we're going to work on the bottom layer. So in a separate bowl, we're going to add 4 cups of bisquick mix. We're going to add in 1.5 cups of water. Get this all mixed around. Now normally I would put this down in a 9 by 13 pan, but today, like I said, we're making some to have for dinner tonight, and then I'm making some for the fridge and freezer for ready to go meals. So I'm actually splitting this into 4 individual toss away pans. Alright, and there's our crust. So we're going to go ahead and turn the oven on to 350 and bring our pans over. So I'm going to give these a good spray. And now we're just going to divide our dough mixture into our 4 pans. If you're making the single recipe, again, it'll just fill out the bottom of 1 9 by 13 pan. And I know this might sound silly, but I've just sprayed my hand with a little bit of cooking spray. And I'm just going to spread this out along the bottom of the pan. But you look how it doesn't really stick to my hand. I didn't spray the back, but it won't stick to your hand nearly as much as if you don't spray. And if you don't want to do this with your hand, you could even spray a spoon. Okay, so we're going to pop these in the oven for 5 minutes just to get that par bake on the bottom, and then comes the fun part where we get to layer everything in. Alright, while those are baking, we're going to toss in the rest of our ingredients that go into our meat. So first up we have our meat, onions, and peppers. And you can mix this all in the pan on the stove top, but I've just run out of room. Next we have 2 packets of taco seasoning mix, or you could use your own homemade taco seasoning. And 2 cans of rotel. I'm going to mix this all together. Alright, our bottoms are out of the oven, and we're just going to create a little assembly line to get these layers going. So first up, I have 1 can of black beans that I've drained and rinsed. You could also use pinto beans if you prefer. And I have a can of corn that's drained. Next up, we're going to spread on our meat mixture and just try and divide it up evenly. So I'm just taking my spoon and spreading it out and kind of giving it a little pat down, but not like a heavy shove down. Our next layer is going to be our cream layer. I love this assembly line style. I feel like I can get a lot more accomplished whenever I do things this way instead of one at a time. I'm just going to use our extra mixture to fill in some of these spots. Make sure we use it all up. Alright, I lost y'all for a minute, but we just spread our cream mixture over the top, and then I topped them with about another half cup of, well, about a quarter of a cup each for these, but with some cheese. So I'm going to pop one in the oven to go ahead and bake for us to eat tonight. It's going to cook uncovered for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to let these other three finish cooling down so they can go in the freezer.